Happy New Year and very good evening. Today we are having our own Gujarati friend from Ahmedabad, Mr. Chintan Shah, has a journey from Australia to Canada. So covering a lot of parts of the globe, having experience worldwide, more than 25 years of experience in supply chain management, which is the most emerging area in the North America. And he is now working with a company known as BIC, which is a European company, and they are into a lot of things. But one fascinating thing I will leave for Chintan bhai to tell you about that how many lighters they make every day or sell every day. But you can say how much? 6 million lighters every day they sell in 160 countries. They have operations in more than 160 countries, and he is the head of operations in Toronto, Canada. Also working on supply chain in many other companies, countries, he's doing that. He had worked in Ahmedabad, was an entrepreneur in the field of textile, had power looms here, then have now settled, but has roots in Ahmedabad, parents staying here, and this is his home ground when he comes, where he comes every year. Probably yes, in this Christmas time. It's the best time of the season in Ahmedabad when you have a lot of snow in Canada. And we are very happy to have you here again. You were here last year also, and today he has chosen a very good subject that is very good for the youth here, and the things which are happening now after the Trump era, which has stopped or forced a lot of students to look at other countries than US. And we see a huge number of students are now looking at Canada. So I think this is going to be very good input. So before I hand over the mic to Mr. Chintan Shah, on behalf of all of us at AMA, I would like to welcome him with a bouquet of flowers. I think what I have requested him is that he will talk about the subject for few minutes, lesser time, and we would like to have more of interaction, some questions, some information you need. And he was having a doubt in the mind that whether shall I be able to get so many questions. I said and it's a challenge for AMA and all of us. So let's begin. Let us make it lively, and let us have any questions to him related to this subject after his talk. And with this, I welcome Chintan bhai. I think you have got the caller mic. So,
anyway, thank you. Thank you for the introduction. As you say, name is Chintan Shah. It's easy to share my name here because when I do some speeches in North America, I have to explain Chin and Tan. So that's how they understand my name, Chintan. So anyway, it's easier. As you rightly said, we are at home ground, and I think it's good to see such a audience, young faces, and a lot of other people, which I think I saw you last time as well. So thank you for coming again. The whole objective for today is just to provide some insights. Basically, what's happening in North America, and why I see a huge potential for the Indian youth or young students and engineers and professionals for a North American market. So before we do that, and you already have said, I need more questions. I'm not going to say a lot because after that it becomes boring and it's a one-side communication. So before we start, I will have some information. I'm going to have an icebreaker, we call it, to break the ice so you can start talking and asking the questions. So, few, why are you here? What information do you seek from this forum? What are you looking for, guys, or girls, and ladies, and gentlemen? Anyone? Please. I have a professional team. I play cricket there. But I'm old enough, so I don't have no chances to get anywhere. The Canadian team exists, but the level of cricket, because of the season, you only can play for 4 months in Canada, or 5 months basically. So the scope is limited. Of course, they will definitely love to see more cricketers coming in. We have lots of Ranji Trophy players in Canada, coming from Baroda actually, especially, and we have our Ahmedabad star, I'm pretty sure Kotesh, I don't know, you know him, he's a good friend of mine. So I'm not sure about the cricket professional, but if you have any other professional, there are chances in Canada who they will invite. So.
Yes, I want to ask, especially for Canada, if someone is journalist and willing to take PR from there to shift to Canada, what are the job opportunities for such a person?
Journalists, there is a lot of media right now, right? So we have lots of media stations, a lot of televisions, there is a lot of journalism, legal. There's a lot of things which you can be engaged in, but I think you will need some local experience or an international experience to be engaged in those performance. So, I mean, we also have a CNN, we also have a CNBC, we also have our own local networks, and most of the stuff which is covered on the social medias as well as on the media are international news. So, if you have an international knowledge and experience, to get into those things is always tough in first 6 months, but then you will get it persistently, you'll get it through. So chances are there. I'm not in a journalism field, but I've seen a lot of Indians, especially in the area where I live, Toronto. Half of the people, or 50% of the journalists and the TV shows and stuff are Indian people, are from Indian origin actually. And we have our own stations as well, where you can try it and expand it from there.
For that, they have to study there also some
Not really.
training or like that.
If you have an international exposure into journalism and the experience and education is from the overseas, then it's recognized. Even if you have a 10 to 15 years of experience in that field, you'll be able to break through. But you have to start, if you are here in India, you will have to start from here basically. And then you have to work your way up. But sometimes you're lucky as well. Sometimes there's a connection, you know someone internationally, you can go up to a next level very quickly. Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, you can tell about different professions you can touch upon. Say, for example, engineers, different field, chartered accountants, doctors, and such professionals. How are the scope in general?
That's what I'm going to share. So if you can give me 10, 15 minutes, you'll see the scope.
Once you complete, then we can ask.
Yeah, absolutely. No problems. Yes, sir.
મને થોડા દિવસ પહેલા આપણો બ્રિક્સ બેંકના એમડી બીજે પાંડ્યાને એવું કીધું અમારું વાઇબ્રન્ટની મિટિંગમાં કે કેનેડામાં ખેતી કરવાના બહુ ચાન્સીસ
Yes.
એ સાચી વાત છે
Sachi Vach. We have a tremendous
કેવી
amount
રીતે
of.
દાખલા તરીકે ગુજરાતના કોઈ માણસોને ગ્રુપમાં જવું હોય તો કેવી
આપણે પંજાબને આપું તમને experience. We have a lot of Punjabi population in Canada, and they have lots of farms and lot of agricultural activities which is happening in our area as well as in rural areas, and they have minted money. So the season is a problem, but even though we need to grow not only the agricultural products, but there is also a different types of, if you go into mining side through an agricultural, if you go through a potash version and make an agro product out of it, you have a lot of potential too. But agriculture specifically, if you want to go there, most of our Punjabis are engaged in agricultural activities. Lots of Punjabis.
Yeah, I belongs to human resource background.
Yes.
I have more than 10 plus 10 years experience in human resource. So I was thinking to move over there. So wanted to know because here there are lots of statutory compliances are there and yes, you can see the Indian legislation mechanism is totally different.
Yes.
So I would like to know and purposefully I am here to understand the scope for the human resource professionals, specifically experienced human resource professionals.
Well, I can share that my daughter sitting at the back is doing human resource in Canada, so she's engaged in that. The scope is tremendous. Yes, regulatory compliances, legalities are different. You have to learn the code of, I would say, the local codes and local regulations, which is not hard. You do. Okay, so Why is it so important to get inside? I think you guys have a lot of curiosity of what's happening in North America, and there is a reason why I'm going to share a story which is very important for you guys to know, and you may have seen that slide last year. What's happening right now in North America especially is that we have a lot of issues with the aging community. As you can see from the slide, and I'll show the comparison between India and US and North America here, is that we have in North America especially, the 30% of the population, as you can see, are aging out. So they're going to be retiring in next 3 to 5 years, basically. And then the pipeline, as you can see, under 15 is only 16% of the population coming in. So there is not that many young people coming up with the education and the skill sets. So the reason why I'm sharing this story is that's where we can play a part from an Indian human assets or resources. So retirement challenges within 3 to 5 years, and a skill gap is a tremendous issue in Canada right now as we speak, and in US as well. So as I said, next 3 to 5 years, 1/3 of the American workforce will be retiring. That is 30% of the population. That leaves only 50% of the population to support the employment needs of North America. There is a huge gap, I would say, in the skill set, training, education, and et cetera, for the high performing team and dynamic workforce. Whereas in India, you can see there's a highly skilled people sitting eager to do the right things with a higher skill sets. More than that, we know that. And they have ability and desire to do well, because there is a lot of curiosity right now in this country where they wanted to go abroad and do the right thing for themselves. And again, quickly I'll go through the Indian demographics. You guys know better than me, but as you can see, 55 plus is 14% and under 15 is 27. So a lot of potential coming up in next 5 to 6 years. We're going to move on. So this is just a comparison. You can see the huge differences between last 2 bullet points. 55 is half the size and 27 is double the size of this basically. So lots of opportunities. I'm going to quickly touch on the immigration update from Canada, because that is where I see a huge potential for you guys playing a part. Because of the Trump era and Trump visa issues happening right now in the US, there has been a lot of diversion, you can say, from a student visa to immigration visa to a work visas going towards to Canada. This was just announced, I think, last week. So what I'm hearing and what we are seeing is that Canada is ready to welcome nearly 1 million immigration by 2020. So within 2 years, tremendous opportunities. About 600,000 will be invited into Canada through Express Entry program. So if you have a skill sets in IT, in nursing, in some of the business entrepreneur side of the world, if you want to invest some money, you have immigration done within 6 months to 8 months. Very quick process happens within that. And I can share in 2018, 300,000 people came in, 90,000 were Indians, came to Canada. So lots of intake from the Indian perspective, and they are happy to have us more and more in because of our skill set. English language is our command. It's not like we are struggling in English. Our mathematical, our analytic skills, and of course we have brain behind the scenes. If you ask any Canadians to do 25 plus 35, they have to use the calculator. We can just do it 60 basically, right? So that's the challenge which we see every day in our life. I can also share that I'm hiring 2 positions. One is for e-commerce manager and one is for e-commerce coordinator. And my position, you can look at in India, it's been out since August 2018. And since then, I have not been able to fill that position, struggling to find. And the 2 people we shortlisted was 2 Indians from Punjab and one from Gujarat actually. And they found another job and did not start at our company. So tremendous opportunities. It feels like you guys, or we see it, a big gap in employment recruitment basically. So if you are consultants and if you are here to kind of push some people up in North America, there's something to sell for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to touch quickly on key opportunities for the new immigrants. There is a vast field when I see in supply chain is one of the biggest industry which nearly they employed 50% of the population. So right from end-to-end cash, procurement, planning, distribution, transportation, customer service, merchandising, retailers. 50% of the population in North America is residing in this kind of the field. Huge opportunities. IT and e-com, I would say India is way ahead in e-com platform and m-com platform. Tremendous opportunities. We see normally as the head of the IT and e-com right now in USA and Canada is most of the Indian people running the show. So again, if you have those kind of expertise, very easy to get into this market and high demand. PMP or project management, I always say we are good in managing the project, we are good in multitasking the project, we are good in managing the people. The only thing which we need to improve on is on time management and discipline. And I always say that regularly to a young, when I was here, he said, hey, improve on your time management and discipline, be on time, you will be able to rule the world. Finance and accounting, this is heavily, I would say, ruled by Indians and Asians, or you say Chinese people. I would say 70 to 80% of the people employed in this industry are from Indian origin or Chinese origin. And of course, the engineers and pharmacists and tons of opportunities there as well. In mining, the mechanical engineers, pharmacists, they need pharmacists more than ever. The pharmacists who have been trained, they're all retiring soon. They're opening new pharmacies. You can engage, you can employ, you can open your business within 3 to 5 years, and then the life is good after that. Nursing, tremendous opportunities. So if anyone is in medical and nursing field and wanted to migrate, it will take 4 to 5 months. Very quick profession. I don't know many of you are engaged in that industry, but it's a very highly paying job, and if you have a 10 years experience plus, you'll be able to start making $150,000 a year as soon as you start the job. So very highly demanding, and the reason for that is the aging community, right? So people are aging out, and they need a nursing and they need a medical care. So everything is free in Canada and US or after a certain age, and they really love to have those home cares and nursing and medical facilities are surrounding them. And another one is a very funny one, is the home improvement opportunities. We call it electricals and plumbers and whatever who can do any handiwork within the house. They will make and mint money out of that. So I have a small leakage in my house, and share an example, how to call a plumber. And he was there for 2 hours, fixed some bolts and pipes and stuff. He charged me $500 for 2 hours. And here the guy will be coming on a rickshaw or a cycle and fix it up, and it's done, and 100 rupees and you're done basically. There you go. So tremendous. If you're a handyman and if you have those skill sets, you're going to make your living very well actually. So I'm going to move on. Today we're just going to touch on 4 key opportunities. And then we can have a forum, open up whatever I know, I will share it and try to share the insights on what can be helpful to you guys. The first one is supply chain professional, this IT professional, project management, and finance and accounting. And I'll go straight into the supply chain area, which is I would say, the largest portion in North America. So the procurement, purchasing function, if you have an international experience or if you are purchasing and procuring here locally from overseas, that experience can be considered very well over there. Planning and supply planning is 2 of the key functions if you are in operations and supply chain facilities, because we have to plan the products coming from overseas, which is 4 to 6 months lead time. So very important functions and highly paid functions as well. If you have a bilingual platform, which is English, French, or Spanish, the customer service side of the world is also very helpful for you guys to provoke and get some traction within when you reach there. Packaging management, and then we were discussing with you, sir, here, Raju Bhai, tremendous opportunities there as well. Because everyone in the retail outfit wants their customized packs. And the packaging industry has just gone up from here to here in the last 3 years. A lot of potential. And distribution, logistics, management, I think North America relies heavily on this thing. So if that industry goes down on a strike, the company will be paralyzed in 2 days. There will be no food, there will be nothing to eat, it will be totally shut down. So it's a heavily how would I say it, highly influential industry to be in. And it's a lot of Indians who has gone into this field, and they have started their own businesses, they have their own transportation companies, they have their own warehousing companies, and they are doing wonderfully well in that side of the world as well. And then, of course, there is a regulatory affairs and QA management, which is highly important, but you may need to get some influence from North America to understand their local regulation and get certification locally to get into that market. Any questions on this one, guys? Yes, sir.
So, as you explained me about the purchasing and management, so it depends on the four major companies, especially Amazon to eBay, and all their local startups will also work. But in like those who have a certified in that logistic area, they can work, or to work in that area if you don't have experience. But if you have experience in India, but in Canada, if they consider the experience, they won't always have that experience.
It was there, and I know that was the thing when I went. Nowadays, that is gone. They have closed down those international boundaries, I call it, and they are more open and diverse to accept the international talent in. Because of the skill set gaps and the retirement which is happening in future. And right now they are very much open to have even more diverse workforce because they bring more ingenuity, innovation, more international experience. So things are changing. And within the 1 to next 2 years, you'll see a drastic change in the industry.
So it means if you are a fresher, there are some hope into this or not?
There is always a hope. And there's always a hope. So if you are a fresher,
so yeah, I do have some friends, they have studied there, but they are not finding a job in that field.
there is a reason for that. Because first of all, they have an obligation of a work visa. A lot of people won't engage if they are in a work visa, because then there is a temporary assignment. They'll be work for 2 years and they're gone if they don't get a PR. So most of the companies like us will always look for the people who have immigrated here. Reason for that is that we put so much resources and money to train that individual, and then the person is gone, then the whole thing is gone and you have to restart the game. So that's the problem. And I have said to people that if you have an opportunity, never go on a student visa.
So I'm not comparing one country to one country, but I studied in Germany.
Yes.
Working there.
Yes.
If you don't know the language, then you won't find a job.
Correct.
So this is in Canada is also the same way in French area? Or?
French is very small portion. We can say 27% population resides in French side, but rest of the population is English speaking. I don't have a clue about French. I don't speak a single word. So not an issue. No issues at all.
Except biche.
Right?
Except biche.
Yes, yeah, except biche or what do you call that? Bon voyage or bon appetit or all those kind of stuff. I don't know if it's a French word or not. I'm going to continue. I want to share some certification courses. So if you are planning to go into this kind of field, there is 2 premier institutes, which we call it APICS, which is, I think they have offices in Bombay and they have offices in southern part of India, where they can give you a training, and then you can come up and give an exam over there and you're certified for your supply chain and operations activity. And other institute is located in New York, actually run by an Indian individual, IBF. They normally give a certification for the business planning and the forecasting world. So if you're interested in business planning and the forecast and the projection, all those things, that certificates are also very valid to get a job easily in Canada or US, basically. Okay, continue, guys. Any questions on ops side of the world, or we can talk later on? Okay, I'm going to continue on finance and accounting side of the world. So, as I said, this domain is particularly heavily loaded with, I would say, 30-40% of the Indian and 30-40% of the Chinese, and the balance of 20% is all other countries, basically, because of our highly skilled labor force in numbers, analytics, and dedication towards the work. We are good in numbers from day one, and especially Punjabis, Banyas, and Gujus are the ones who are normally engaged in this field. So the roles, what you normally see over there is the controller, which is the head of the department, There is a general accounting or cost accounting, which we do all the time over here, which is GL entries and doing some GP work and analysis and margin setups and stuff. You also have a brand finance, which is primarily used for FMCG and CPG companies to manage the revenue growth management and all those kind of good stuff. Then, of course, you have ARs. You have to take money, you have to pay the money and payroll to the team. So there is a functionality over there too. And after all those things, you can go into your consultancy. So a lot of our folks, and I've seen it, few of them have been engaged with Deloitte, Ernst and Young, and PwC as an auditors and consultants. Once they get engaged after 10 years of the experience locally, they normally charge close to $250 to $300 an hour. So high potential for growth, high potential for you to get learnings out of it, high potential to earn and a good living. And then there's the last part, which is more on the investment banking and financial planners. So that's where the CFA role comes into play. And our Indian CFAs, I think it's called, right? CFAs here? Yeah. They are also heavily regarded nice, and they have an equivalency, but you have to give a couple of courses, and then you are certified as a CFA in North America as well. And they do very well, actually. And they are, once they get into...
The question is that I am a CA and I am working over here since last 2.5 years. The question is that is it necessary for CA to be CPA to pursue all these professions like finance and accounting and all those?
You will need to have a CPA certification to work into a premier companies. You really don't need to have a CPA certification if you are going into a tier 2 companies. You can start up if you have an accounting background, and our CAs have done very well over there without getting this certification. So if you get into the job, then you can work as a you can study as a part-time and get this certification in 2 years. So you have a local experience, then you get this certification, then you can move into a premier or a higher organization. Or you can start your own business as well. A lot of CPAs are doing auditing and taxation business locally in Canada as well as in US.
It takes 2 years to complete this.
Correct. And you may get some waivers because of your CA over here. So if you have your transcript, show it to them. They may give you some exemption of a couple of subjects, and you may be able to finish it in a year's time. But depending on where did you study, where you came from, what your experience is, and if you can prove them that you have these certifications, then there is an opportunity for you to get things set up earlier. Yeah? Yep. Good? Yes?
We can study from here.
You can start your training from here. That's what I've heard. There is a CPA institute, not institute, but training courses. You can start engaged. I think one of my buddies who came from southern part of India studied CPA over here.
So I am also a chartered accountant. Earlier, our institute is also having a MOA with this institute. But,
Okay.
since last 2 years, I think they have stopped.
Because there was a changes in this whole credential. So before it was a CGA, then it becomes CMA, then there's a CA. All those things were consolidated, and now it's only one professional, which is CPA.
So for exam, we have to go there.
Yes. You need to sit locally in countries where you wanted to go through the certification. But for the training, for your education, for all those things, you can easily do it here and then go there. Prepare yourself. That's what I'm saying. There are courses happening here for supply chain, for accounting, for PMA, for project management. You can do your studies over here, get yourself established, go there, give the exams, and you'll be up and running quickly. Sorry.
I'm basically certified from Apex USA,
Oh, good.
CPI.
Okay.
So that is basically based out in North America only.
Correct.
So how can I now further perform?
So CPIM now is also there, but you need to do one more, which is CSCP, which is Certified Supply Chain Professional. If you have done that, I think you need to start applying from here if you're planning to go overseas. I don't know what your plans are.
No, but what is the procedure? I want to know the procedure. How I cleared the CPM exam, I have a CPM certificate.
Okay.
What is the further procedure?
So you need to engage for the employment. You're planning to go there, right? That's the yeah. So first of all, you need to get your points, ILTS points up and running. You need to apply for the immigration. Then you can use your certificates to attach with that to increase your points and your chances to go out. Once you get through those things, then only your certification is going to be helpful when you reach there.
The first step is IELTS.
First is absolutely, you need to pass that. You need a band of, I don't know, 6, 7, whatever is required. 7 plus, yes, to make your points up, right? Your certification is valid, but it's no use until you reach there. And it's not going to help you to reach there. This is more of when you reach there, by your immigration process, it will be faster and easier to get the job. Yeah? Another question?
CPA,
Yes.
we have to prepare here and give the exam there in
You
Ahmedabad.
can do that.
Can we give exam in India?
No. You have to give exams in local country to get the certification. Otherwise, there's no validity anymore, right? So that's the challenge.
How about the job opportunities in sales and marketing?
A very good question. I was waiting for that. So, what is traditional sales and marketing on salespeople? So, there's two different fields. The sales is primarily still is driven by a white male between 35 to 45. Still, you see the white face. It's the face of the country, face of the company, white people. Marketing. So that thing, I'm hoping to get it changed, or hopefully it will change soon, because all those people are going to retire soon. In the marketing, you see a lot of different nationalities and diversity, because marketing people doesn't go outside. Here, marketing goes outside. Their marketing is inside the office. So they work on the branding exercise, they work on the analytics, they work on the media, they work on the social media, they work on packages and writings and advertisement, all those things. So that particular portfolio is residing in the office, where I have seen a lot of Indians, a lot of Chinese, a lot of Europeans, a lot of different nationality playing a part in it, basically. But sales is still a question mark, and it will take, I would say, a decade to break into that cycle. There's still that white male perception you require to go into the customer. I think it's going to take some time for us to break that through. I would say our generation, like next generation who is born and brought up, will have a better chance because of the local language, local communication. Like if I'm talking about ice hockey, I don't have a clue. They will have a clue because they are in that normal term. I will be talking about cricket, which they won't have a clue. So this engagement is a bigger issue than for the first generation. But for the second, I think they will break it through and move into that role. Sorry? There is no required. Sales, you need to sell yourself. Once you sell yourself, you have to sell their product. That's about it. It's all KPIs driven. You have to have $10 million of sale. If you sell it, you're good. If you can't, you're out, basically. So you have to be very careful and tactful how you want to reach there. So always, people go into marketing first, establish themselves, prove themselves, and then if there's an opportunity, they go into the sales sector after that. Yes?
How does it work?
Sorry, go ahead.
Suppose you get the employment, the employer arranges for the visa or?
No. That is a whole different slew of, and I think it will take hours for me to explain. Because they have to go through the process to prove that they cannot find any suitable person locally to fill that thing. And then no employer is going to do that. You have to reach there and then apply all those credentials to get the job. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anyone sponsoring you or anyone. That's a totally a wide or wild field we are going into right now. You need a visa, you need an immigration status, you need a working visa, you need some kind of visa to get in. Once you get in, and then I'm talking about these are the opportunities where you can get into yourself and then apply for immigration or status to stay there. Yes? I think you've been saying yes.
Do you think change of domain will affect the visa process?
What was that?
Sir, change of domain will affect the visa process.
Change of domain.
Yes, I am currently a computer engineering student and I want to go for a management job like in HR or operations management.
It will impact you because first of all you need to show the experience behind it. So
I currently have one internship is complete and one is ongoing in marketing.
I would go with the IT, and then you can change your domain later on. Because right now, there is a skill set required in IT. You can get very quick immigration process within 6 months if you're in IT field. Marketing, there's a lot of people in Canada who can do this. Operations management is that's the field which I shared, which is, I think, in next 3 to 5 years, there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming up. So if you can build up your base, your degrees, your education, then you have a great chance to get through it.
Same is the case for supply chain?
It's the same. Supply chain ops is a one field actually. That's how we talk it.
So there is a demand for that?
Huge demand. Tremendous amount of demand right now. And especially the e-com sector as well. Supply chain e-com, and then of course a little bit of accounting also, there is a lot of demand coming up. As I said, I'm trying to hire a person, e-com manager from last 4 months. Not a chance yet. So you can say that there are people, but they're not fit, and they're not right, there's not skills. And I could not find not a single individual local e-com person who can help me out. 2 people we selected, shortlisted, both were from India. So it's an opportunity. That's what I'm trying to share here. So again, quickly we go through the PMP. I know there is a lot of professionals here, as well as in Canada and the US, who are working in this field from an Indian sector. So there is an opportunity for the project coordination, execution, implementation managers, the real project managers, and then there's some junior level roles, which is the project specialists and schedulers, to get into a higher role. There is also an opportunity, and how will I say it? So in companies like us, we have to do a lot of reporting, a lot of data mining, a lot of stuff we have to send it out. So right now, we are working with a company which is located in India actually, on a business intelligence, we call it Power of BI, which is a Power of BI, which is helping us to publish a dashboard. And the people we are talking on a regular basis are actually from southern part of India. And they are connecting and helping us to do and fill up a dashboard version. So again, opportunities, people sitting here are doing the job. You can outsource the work from Canada, US to bring it over here. Tons of opportunities, guys. I'm just throwing everything to you. Wherever it fits, you can take it from there. So again, PMP and PMI are the projections, and those are the things which you can go on the line and check it out. I just want to quickly share this thing because this is an important factor. So if you go there and are interested in starting from lower to middle to peer to the high, these are the salary ranges these are all in USD. These are the salary ranges which you can look at it. So most of us, if you have a 5 to 10 years of experience, you will be in between 70 to 125K, depending on the field where you're going. If you are a leader of a department or a leader of an organization, depending on a company, you will make between 300 to 400Ks. These are USD, and this is a gross salary. Plus there is a bonus, there is a stock option, and a lot of perks which will help you to elevate yourself. So just a quick snapshot. I mean, depending on the companies you are in, this is how it works. Sorry, 300,000 per annum. Yeah. This is all a yearly salary basically, which is very normal. This is it looks big, but our taxes are 40%. So by the time it comes in our hand, it's like. Any questions on this? No, at the top level it will be 42 to be exact. And then as you go down, the lowest one is around 23, 22%. Yes. Sure, yes. We can start the process here, but then you will have to give the PMP's exams over there. And this is a 6-month certification. Yeah. Okay. I think it will be valid. But again, for a betterment of yourself, if you are there, always good to have a local certification. Yeah.
So my company has sponsored me for CAPM, not PMP certificate. It's I just have a 3+ of experience.
Okay.
So they have offered me a CAPM, and I have just finished that one. So it affects me, or I have So this not the same question, but this certification is helpful for me in the future in Canada.
Any education you do is always going to be helpful in no matter what. I'm an engineer by trade, but I have never worked as an engineer. I've done my post-graduation in engineering, and I've never worked as an engineer, but it's helping me, right? So it will help you eventually somewhere. And any certification degrees you have it now, it's going to help you in whatever business model, whatever work you do, it's going to help. In terms of immigration, I cannot answer. I'm not an immigration specialist, but maybe it will be helpful. So, any questions on this one, guys? Oh, yes, go ahead, man. Okay. Rogers, Canada. Okay. I've hard to hear. Can you clear? Yes. Okay. I'm in India, okay, yes. Okay. Okay. Would it be what? 6? Absolutely. 100%. It will count. If you have a Rogers experience, which is our local company, biggest telecom company in Canada, and AT&T, of course, it's another giant, and IBM is another giant. So, even better. It doesn't matter. So as long as you have, because you're working with those culture, you're working with those experience. Not an issue at all. You will be. I've seen people who have worked in Rogers in India, outsourcing kind of, and got the position within 3-4 months in Rogers.
I did get an opportunity, but that was in Thailand. I was there for about 6 months. I didn't get it.
Hey, go there and come back over there. It's a journey.
I'm not PMP certified. I've studied for it.
Doesn't matter.
Would PMP help?
Always any certification will help for you for your better perspective in a way. So if there are 2 candidates, one has PMP and one doesn't have it, they'll go with the PMP. That's the difference. That's nothing else. Thank you. Any other questions? I think I'm going to end this session very quickly because we have a Q&A. So skill competencies, I'm going to get out of this. New buzzword in North America, this is very important for you guys. A lot of people talk about transformation here. When we talk our languages in North America, especially in the meetings and interviews and here and there, we talk transformation, optimization, customization, consolidation, alignments, engagement. So this is a very important factor for us to engage our employees and empower them to do their work. So those are the key attributes which has changed and transformed our human resource and assets in the last 3 to 5 years. And that's why we want to see the elevation of our team to a next level, basically. So I'm going to move on, because we only have 5 minutes left here. And some quickly, IT opportunities, guys. We talked about it, e-commerce portal, human resource, workflows, data analytics, networking, software and app developers. So all these opportunities are sitting there open wide for you to come. As the Trump era has come in, a lot of companies have migrated north of the border, basically. So there are a lot of companies, IT companies who have come into Vancouver, who has come into Toronto, and a lot of IT, I would say, professionals are moving from USA to Canada. We just got the news last week that Amazon has opened up their kind of a smaller headquarter in Toronto as well for the IT development. So tremendous opportunities in these sectors as well. We only have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to thank you guys. Any questions now? This is the key factor for us. So go ahead. No, sorry. Oh, thank you. Okay, we'll start with the clap first. We'll go in a sequence, so we'll start with you guys.
Kindly tell what are the general range of expenses when a young man of 30 comes there?
Well, depends how lavishly you want to live. If you want to live in a conservative version and want to live in a basement apartment, you can survive in $2,000 a month. For one person. Yeah. Another person will be $2,500 per month. Yeah. You can survive easily. Yeah. Yes.
What are the prospects for lawyers?
You have to have an LLB over there. You need to go through their certification.
NCA, or I can also
LLM. But there is a process to get into LLM. It's a hell of a scenario to get into LLM. Yeah. But once you get through it, you're going to make money out of it. Once you get into that. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I am from commerce background and I've got experience of 10 years in talent acquisition, in recruitment. I have been working as a trainer for the last 5 years. And what I want to know, there are two things. What about the opportunities out there in employment market? And second, what are the opportunities in outsourcing if I want to work for an organization from here for a Canadian company?
There are lots of outsourcing opportunities. You have to engage with the right people who are outsourcing it. For the first question of yours, you can, as I said, there is going to be a tremendous growth and a lot of people are going to be retiring soon. So we will need a heavy amount of people coming in the recruitment process and the recruitment people in place to get the talent what we needed as a company. So it's the right time. Yes, it's the right time right now. If you can get into Canada or USA, within 1 or 2 years you can establish yourself, you can establish your temp agency, you can establish your own agency for the talent acquisition, headhunting we call it, through LinkedIn process. But for that you need to develop your networking and social skills. There you go then. I think it will be better if you work with those companies there locally. The percentage of money you're going to make is a lot of money. Normally you get 30% of an annual salary as a commission.
And is there any age limit for the immigration if I want to move to a family?
I'm not too sure, but I think there is a 40, 35 age. I'm not sure about, I'm not an immigration consultant, so I won't be able to share that, but there is an age limit somewhere.
All right.
Yes.
Manitoba, Winnipeg.
Okay.
So what are the opportunities for insurance sector and advertising?
Insurance in terms of life insurance, that's a lot of our people have done, they are doing right now as we speak. So travel insurance, life insurance, home insurance, mortgage insurance, tons of insurance are there. You don't really need any certification. You have to go through some courses and get some experience. But a lot of our folks from Gujarat actually are in that industry. We can easily get engaged. Yeah, a lot of my friends actually are doing those.
So Winnipeg and
Not a problem. Manitoba, it's a cold side of Canada. It's very cold, but hey.
wanted to ask about what is the opportunity in automobile sector in Manitoba?
Automobile sector is a very scary one. It has its ups and downs. So GM just announced that they are shutting one of our local plants in Toronto area, and I think they're going to be impacting 4,000 or 5,000 people soon. So I was in automotive sector for 3 years, and I said this is a hell of a industry to be in. So I pulled myself and went into CPG. So that's just my take on it.
It was a different
Yes.
bucket.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sir, what are your opinions on AI endangering the supply chain management field?
AI.
Endangering the supply chain management.
You will need a human interface anytime, but there will be some opportunity, I would say, in optimization phase more than any endangering anything. That's how I see it. Yes. Yes.
Sir, I have got 2 questions. The first question is regarding the declaring popularity of Justin Trudeau in Canada. So I have been reading that there is a possibility of a conservative government in Canada this year. So would that have any impact on immigration? And second is regarding United States. What is the scenario of a non-STEM graduate in United States with regards to PR and citizenship?
In United States, there is a lot of challenges right now with the Trump being on the hot seat. So non-graduate, if you have a family sponsorship or L1s or somehow you can get through it, hey, that's their base scope right now. For Canadian side of the world, once the regulation is passed through for next 2 years, any government coming into play is not going to make any impact or changes. It can only happen after 2 years. And the reason why they're doing this is to get them back into the sector again, because the voting resides now majorly in the immigration population. So if you think about in Toronto area, we are not minority anymore. We are 30% of the population where we live. Like, we don't feel like we are living in a Western world. We have Eastern Indian and Western world both together here. So that is the purpose why they have increased this allocation, one of the reason, and of course to close the gaps of work issues and workforce moving forward. So I don't see an issue at this stage. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, sir, what other domains can I shift into? Like, should management be the option for a LLB student with BA degree as well?
Yeah, you can get into the paralegal side of the world, which is easier to get in, which also pays off very well. You can go into the management side of, how would I say, not actual going into the court and working as a legal, but you can manage the legal side from a different perspective. So you need to go through any education. If you want to stay in the legal sector, you will have to go through the local education. So, and that's going to be a very tough choice for us, any of us from here going in there. If you want to diverse your whole channel and then go into a management sector, I see there is a lot of potential. So if you go into any domains in human resource side of the world and you become a legal expertise from a human resource point of view, that's a management job which can be easily facilitated.
And so if I take up a course in specialized legal law, for example, IPR, intellectual property law, if I take up a course in that field in Canada, and that would be 1 year course, which would be less expensive for me, would that help me with the degree which I've got here? To get a job
your
there?
degrees won't be valid there, I'll be very honest. You will need to have a local degree there because the laws and regulations are totally different in terms of legal point of view.
And sir, lastly, I wanted to ask that I've Googled up the website for Canada immigration, and they've said that French is a very important aspect of Canada. You said French is, you don't know French, it doesn't matter, but sir, for the immigration, there's a language test, and which needs points. So I have not studied French that much, is it advisable for getting up a course which would help me get points in the immigration test?
Yeah, I mean, it is always advisable if your points are not happening, then you can take that as a secondary language, but I have never used French in my life. Only way where you're going to use it is where there is a bilingual requirement as a part of your job functions. And that is only required when you're in a customer service or some specialized field, or you are in a Quebec side of the world, which is our Eastern Canadian provinces.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, you go. I'm giving it
Canada is considered to be a labor intensive. There are very less chances of a white collar job. Is it true?
No, I don't see that happening now. There is always if you are going in the wrong direction and if you don't apply yourself, then I would say it's on you. When I went to Canada, there was a person who forcing me to go to a labor job. I said, really? I sat down at home for 3 months, 4 months. I said, I'm not doing this kind of job. I sat down, eventually I got a breakthrough. I got 3 interviews, 3 jobs, eventually after 4 months. And then it has been a very progressive. So if you're going into a wrong sector, you're done with it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Opportunities for doctors who have completed MBBS.
They have to go through the whole process again. Not whole process, but they have to go through the 2 years. I think there is a need of 2 years certification and the residency requirements over there. So it's 4 to 5 years process by the time they get doctor.
Is it easy to get admission there for the post graduation?
It's if you pay money, yes, you will. They will welcome you. Bring it on. They have no issues with that. That's their business actually.
So in the field of e-commerce and information technology particularly, so I am taking courses online from Udemy, and they are providing a certification of completion, and there are some HPC, some of the courses like information technology, before they provide us a certificate just to ensure that the candidate is eligible for that particular certification. So how does it impact if you wish to have some job in Canada? So like is it I want to ask that is it valid like if I take the online certification in the field of e-commerce and IT?
Hard to say, I don't know what courses you're doing. It is validated through a Canadian government, a US government. But 90% of the time when you're going for an interview, the education comes at the end. It's your experience what's going to speak. So if you can express yourself, Then the second thing is education. In Canada is a different story. In US it's the other way around. So, yeah. I have a question. Yes.
Yeah, actually I want to ask regarding the express entry. My current score is I think so above 400, but it is not up to the mark that they need for the express entry. So anything I can do to increase the score and opportunities over there, like if I'm from accounts and finance and inter-C and and I've also done MCOM here. So is there any course that I can pursue here and that will increase my credentials over here?
Not locally. I don't think so anything is going to help you.
Okay.
The only way you're going to get your score higher up is to arrange...
I have already got 7 points. That I need is
No,
0.5. Yeah.
Not for the IELTS. You have to arrange an employment there, which is going to be a
That
tough.
is the only option.
That's the only option. Or you go on a student visa, get some local education, then your points will be up.
That will boost up. And if I want to switch over this PNP, like managers, like a finance person can shift over to...
Not a problem.
It's not a problem for...
Anyone can switch. I'm an engineer working in supply chain operations.
No, the sector is booming. If I want to consider that option, by the time I will reach there, like study, and 4 to 5 years, the sector will be booming or it will decline. What are the chances?
Hey, if I can predict that, I'll be sitting somewhere else here. But hey, I can only share the trends. So this is next 3 to 5 years trend, and hey, I don't think so this thing is going to go down. You need project managers to perform the projects which has been undertaken by many companies. So it's up to you. I mean, you can always diversify. Once you sit there, you see what's happening, you manipulate, you get out of the things, go somewhere else. People does that all the time there. You have to be agile, you have to be productive, proactive, and looking at the vision and see the future where it's going. There are a couple of questions at the back, and then we'll close it up. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I would like to understand how's the advertising industry, and in particular for the television.
Absolutely. So there is a high focus. Now, when you're talking about advertising company, are you talking about the media or the social media?
Media.
Or digital?
Media, TV,
Yes.
I would say.
Yeah, okay. So there are still a scope. There are still lots of advertising happening. But the focus is changing from a traditional media advertising to a social digital marketing side of the world. I'll be very honest. We do advertise our own company. We have our ads going on. Before it was once a week. Now it's like twice a month, basically. So the proportion of the cost which has gone up and the media rights has gone down. So if you are affiliated with the sporting activities, which is basketballs or ice hockey or baseball or something, then there is a media, and then there's a lot of media trends there. So the beer, tobacco is not allowed, so beer is there. Merchandising units, the sporting activities like Nike's, Adidas, all those things, they do promote a lot of advertisement on media. But traditional brand, which is the Cadbury's and chocolates and P&G's and Gillette's and all those things, their advertising campaign has gone down. In fact, I can share the data. Versus 2017 to 2018, which we just found it out, 20% of the advertisement from a CPG and FMCG world has gone down. So they are cutting down on advertising right now.
So you are talking about the television advertisement, yes. the entire advertisement.
I'm talking about television advertising, the flyers, and the media in the stores.
Okay. The reducing the overall share of the television is globally it's happened, but still in India I would say sometimes 20,000 crore industry advertising in the television, yeah. And the social media is still somewhere around 8,000 crore revenue from the India. The ratio would be how much in the Canada?
I think it's the other way around.
Okay, you mean to say the social media earning the good money?
Yes, the digital marketing has kind of taken, we talk about transformation, that's one of the biggest transformation we have seen in last 1.5 years, where the social media, the bloggers, the influencers, and the advertisement has gone and shifted from the television media into a more of a social platform. Okay. It's cheaper as well for us to manage that way.
Thanks.
Yes, at the back.
So basically I'm an HR professional, and as you said that there are a lot of opportunity in HR over there. So I would like to understand what qualification, because I have done MBA in HR and I have got gold medal also in my education. Good. And I have 6 years of experience, but I think still there will be something required as per Canada's
Correct.
thing.
CHRP. Certified Human Resource Professional. It's
Right.
a 6 months course.
Right.
Am I correct? Something like that? Derek? Yeah. So, yeah, CHRPI. My daughter is doing HR, that's why I'm just checking, verifying it. So you need to do that to understand the local regulations.
Right.
Because we have a lot of labor regulations which are very different than India actually. And through that certification, you will get through it. And after that, you can pursue your career moving forward.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Student visa, yes, or the PR. That's not the only two options you have right now.
So, what is the scope for criminology and forensic science for a lawyer who's done criminology in the part of the LLB course? So, would that be a booming? Because in USA, it's quite booming for forensic.
Yes.
What is the
So
scope in Canada?
What I learned, and I'm not an expert in the law, but I can share, there has been a program offered for masters in criminology. And I know where it is offered in Ryerson, I think. Am I correct? Yeah, somewhere there. So one of the university my daughter is going, they are offering a post-graduation program for criminology, if I'm correct, okay? And then there is a scope after that, once you pass through those certification or post-graduation, there are a lot of, how would I say, opportunities within North America as well as in Canada as well.
Sir, can you please give me the name of the college, the university?
Ryerson University. You hook up with me on a LinkedIn. If you have questions, I'll be
Sure,
able
sir.
to
Okay,
shoot
thank you,
all
sir.
the questions. Answers to. Okay. Shall we? 7:45. We good? One more question. Go ahead. Yes, the project management is good. They're still expanding a lot of scope in communication area. What has happened is that within USA and Canada, the scope of telecom industry is been there for the last 20 years. So the infrastructure is very old. The broadband or the bandwidth within those sectors is not as optimized as it needs to be to support the newer social media activities and stuff. So they are optimizing and putting more and more stuff within those telecommunication lines. I myself, I'm an engineer in telecommunications, so I can kind of share a little bit of it, but I have never worked. So Rogers and Telus and Bell and AT&T and Airtel and all those companies are expanding the scope. They're going to a next generation. And I would say within 2 to 3 years, there's going to be a total transformation on what you see on your mobile phone. And India, I think, is way ahead right now. They are on m-commerce with a higher bandwidth. We are still not on m-commerce platform. We are still on e-commerce right now. So the project management in the telecommunications sector with a data integrity going through the mobile network, huge potential in next 3 years, 5 years. Yes. Oh, yes. Sorry.
What are the prospects for luxury management?
Luxury management. Sorry, I don't understand. What do you mean by luxury?
Fashion and luxury management.
Luxury means it means the trends in terms of fashion apparels of Haba, oh huge. If you're talking about the Haba products, which is, we call it health and beauty, there's a highly focused because of people are very sensitive for the grooming right now. And especially both male and female are very much into spending money, and they'll spend X amount of money. If it's $60 for this small bottle, they'll spend it because it's for their own purpose and body. So yes, but you need to be in a niche market to provide those facilities and to provide those services to the consumers. But yeah, a good potential, absolutely. I am not sure, sir, which is, it's above my or different area altogether, but I'm pretty sure there must be some kind of education process behind it to put it through.
Sir,
yeah, I think I have one question and we'll end the session. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, what are the opportunities for the experienced professional? Is it only through certification that they can get through, or
No.
based on their experience also?
I have, last year I met 3 or 4 different couples. They are in Canada right now. So in 1 year, one is pharmacist, one was just a BCom graduate, one was BBAs, I don't know. And all of them have succeeded in acquiring a good job. So you really don't need a certification.
Okay.
If you want to specialize it, if you have enough years of experience behind you,
Right.
you will be able to get through anywhere. You need a smartness, which I think we all have it here, and you need a language. And you need to know how to sell yourself. Because selling yourself is only 10 minutes in Canada. If I don't find a person appropriate in 15 minutes, the interview is finished basically. So some techniques and skill sets are required to sell yourself. And that's the key. Anything else it's there. It's just your support system.
Right.
We'll send you. My contact is on LinkedIn. If you just write Chintan Shah big, you'll find me. You connect with me, and we'll start connecting and sending the questions. If you don't mind. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do? Yeah. Thank you.
I think very, very informative and interesting session. A lot of questions, and I see a lot of people still curious to ask some more questions, but I think he has done a very good job by giving us the point where you can contact him and then you can get answers on your questions. I think this kind of questions will definitely bring you back to AMA every year now. And I think this has been a very good session. We will not prolong it, but on behalf of AMA and all of us, we thank you for this, and we give you a small memento on behalf of AMA. Yeah, thank you very much to be here. And I must appreciate the way you answered all diverse questions. I think from different fields of education, industry, jobs and opportunities. I think that was very, very informative, and that's the real thing. And a lot of inspiring people here. And we think that many people with this new policy will be able to break into Canada and do wonders like you have done there. And we are proud of you, and other Indians are proud of you. I think this is what is the country is doing now, and we have got the opportunity. I go to Japan, I go to Europe, I go to America, I go to Canada, UK, everywhere we see Indians. And there is a big opportunity, and we must take it. All the best to all of you. Thank you very much, and good night.